My husband and I have been together for 3 years. He has 3 kids from his previous relationship, and I have 1. She's the oldest, nearly adult. He's a dedicated man, puts God first, and loves everyone. My husband always complains that my daughter doesn't spend time with her step-siblings, or him, but she has reasons for that: school, health issues, and work. She does her best to spend as much time with them as possible, but she, on the other hand, complains that her stepdad tells her to take on the role of a babysitter whenever she's with her step-siblings. My husband denied that and said that my daughter was making up excuses not to have to spend time with his kids. For this issue, I figured that a family trip is what the family needs to get together and spend more time around each other. My husband liked the idea, but said that his kids are now uncomfortable around my daughter because of her attitude, and suggested that we let her stay home and have the house all to herself, since that's what she's always wanted. I told him we should all go. He kept complaining till I snapped and told him to stop. I booked and paid for the whole family. However, my daughter told me she couldn't find her passport. We turned the house upside down looking for it, but couldn't find it. My husband said that maybe it was a sign from God that we should let her stay home so the trip wouldn't become a disaster. I ignored his comment, but later, while I was cleaning his office, I found the passport tucked away in the 3rd drawer under a ton of papers. This floored me. I confronted him with it, and he swore he had no idea why or how the passport got there. I checked the upstairs camera and saw him enter my daughter's room. That was it for me. I screamed at him and then canceled the trip completely. He started arguing, saying that I overreacted and he didn't want his kids to be miserable on the trip, and that he was willing to apologize to my daughter if and when I reconsidered my decision regarding the cancellation of the trip, because my stepkids would be devastated. But I said it was final and that it was done. He became cold and distant and said that he wanted to take some time to do some fasting and get guidance from God about how he should deal with the disrespect and control that I had displayed lately. Am I the idiot for canceling it altogether? Not the idiot. He can't use your daughter as free childcare for his children, so he intentionally alienates her from his family. And yes, I said his family, because it's very apparent he doesn't consider your family his family. Your husband wants to control you, what you do and what you want. Your husband wants to control your daughter, what she should spend her time on, and force her to do things she can't do. When he cannot easily do that, he uses manipulation and lying in order to accomplish it. He turns it around on you when he's held responsible for his actions. When that doesn't work, he throws a temper tantrum. He didn't marry you because he wanted a wife and stepdaughter. He was looking for 2 females to boss around and do his bidding. In God's name, amen. A man of God? You need to stop calling him that. It's blatantly untrue, and you need to open your eyes to his actions versus his words. He's a lying, abusive, sneaky, manipulative idiot trying to push out your daughter for himself and his kids. Your stepkids should be blaming him for his disgusting actions, trying to ostracize their stepsister. Without the camera, he might have succeeded. Do you want to be with someone that you can't trust? This man is using religion to walk all over you, and especially your daughter. He's attempting to exclude her because she asserted herself and refused to take on her womanly duty of providing free childcare so that he doesn't have to parent his own kids. OP, please save that video footage and get all the proof you can. And if your home cameras happen to capture him lying about it, save that too. If this goes to divorce court, you'll need all the proof you can get. You are the idiot, but only because you let this man treat you and your daughter poorly. Book a trip for just you and your daughter. My husband, 28, and I, 27 female, have been together for 5 years. We met online through a video game and then dated long distance for 3 years until I moved to live with him. I'm disabled and use a wheelchair, while my husband is completely non-disabled. He has known this since the first time we spoke, and it has never been a problem in our relationship. I currently don't work as I'm still finishing my master's, and we're both aware that in the future, I still might not be able to work full-time, or even at all due to my health issues. I do what I can when it comes to household chores, but obviously, I can't do all of it. We're very happy with this arrangement. Nancy, 25 female, is a neighbor. She was my first friend here and really helped me to feel more at home in a foreign country. We sometimes talk about how amazing my husband is as a partner, and she knows the details of my medical diagnosis. But there have never been any red flags regarding her talking about my disability. Since I've known her, she's been in a string of bad relationships, which I always comforted her through because I know dating nowadays can be emotionally taxing. 2 days ago, my husband and I were late for an outing with Nancy and mutual friends, and someone made a joke about us having intimacy being the reason we're late, as it's uncharacteristic for us to be on time. Everyone laughed, and then Nancy said that couldn't be true because how would we even have intimacy considering I'm disabled? There was an awkward silence before my husband said that the details of our intimate life were none of her business. She looked embarrassed, so we all moved on. Nancy drank a lot throughout the night and ended up cornering me in the bathroom and badgering me about details on how I have intimacy. I was uncomfortable and told her so, and then she huffed and said it's ridiculous how someone like me ever managed to get with someone like my husband, who's handsome and treats me like a queen, while she, who is normal, can't find a man who wants to commit. She also suggested I couldn't fulfill my husband's needs and that he must feel trapped and unsatisfied in our relationship. This made me angry, so I told her it's not my fault she's still single and that maybe her horrible personality pushes men away and that no amount of being normal can fix that. My husband and I went home after that and haven't spoken to her since. She's since shared the story with all of our mutual friends. While my husband and the majority of our friends are on my side, 2 women in our group say it wasn't very feminist of me to attach a woman's value to keeping a man, and that I knew it was a sore spot for Nancy. Am I the idiot for telling her what I did? Not the idiot, and she probably needed that vibe check badly. What she said, even before being drunk, was unjustifiable. Also, the other 2 friends that disagree with you sound like the parodies of feminists that misogynists come up with. Ridiculous and unhinged. Attaching a woman's value to her relationship. Sorry, but isn't that what she did when questioning your abilities to satisfy your partner? Disgusting. Sounds like the neighbor has the hots for OP's husband, and she needed more than a vibe check. The neighbor needed a kick in the butt. We have no idea what OP's relationship with their husband is, and neither does their neighbor. And we have no business knowing. Whatever their relationship, it is clearly satisfying since they seem very happy and secure. There's ableism, anti-feminism, so much happening here, my head is spinning. What does being a feminist have to do with the fact that she cornered you over some BS? The 2 disagreeing with how you handled it are idiots, as well as Nancy. She's a jealous and miserable idiot. I'm sorry your friend turned out to be such an ableist, intrusive moron. You don't need someone like that in your life. Instead, focus on the good friends and your amazing partner. When I, male 40, was 30, and my girlfriend Magdalene was 24, she was hit by a car and passed away. She had moved across the country to be with me after she finished university. It's been 10 years and my head is still not okay. She was hospitalized for a long time, long enough for her parents to come and forbid me from going to the hospital to be with her. When she passed, they took her back to their country and told me not to come to the funeral. They said that they would have me removed. I respected their wishes. I had to find out where her grave was from one of her old roommates. I only went to see it once because her mom was there with her little brother when I went. She lost it on me. It was my fault that she was in a city far from her family, and it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't dragged her to California. Her little brother told me he hated me, as only a young child could. So I left, and I never went back. I was broken for a long time. I eventually met my wife, and we've been married for almost a year now. I was working for a company when Magdalene died. I was the beneficiary of her life insurance. I was having trouble concentrating, so I took a leave of absence. After a couple of months of grieving, I resigned from my job and used the insurance money to fund my own little startup. I'm not Oprah rich, but I do okay. Magdalene's little brother was recently accepted to an Ivy League school. I know this because he and his parents all reached out to see if I would give them the insurance money to help with his tuition. These are people who I thought would be in my life forever, and they abandoned me at the lowest point in my life. I had friends, but I had no other family. They didn't just abandon me, They made it worse. Now they need my help. They say that if I don't give them the money, they will have to take out a mortgage on their house to pay for his education. They said I was in the wrong to keep the money and that it should have gone to them initially. I loved these people once, but they destroyed me. The money they want is negligible to me. I could give it to them without in any way compromising my lifestyle. I want to brag about how little it will affect me, but I feel petty. It's just not much to me, but it's life-changing to them. My wife says it's my choice. I want to punish them for how they treated me, but I know Magdalene would want me to help her family. Am I the idiot if I don't give them the money? Not the idiot. Magdalene would have also wanted you at the hospital and funeral. She would have also wanted her family to support you as well as you support them. But that didn't happen. They were extremely cruel to you. What happened to her was not your fault at all. If they have to take out a second mortgage, that's their problem. Another case of they reap what they sow. It's been 10 years and they're just now asking? They could have been saving for 10 years and left you alone. If they cared about you, as opposed to the money, they wouldn't have barred you from the funeral and cut you off completely until you had something they wanted. There's a reason that you, rather than her family, were the beneficiary of her life insurance. She loved you and wanted you to have it. I, female 22, am currently staying with my eldest sister, Natalie 32, and her boyfriend, Micah 36, as I finish my semester in college. Natalie has a safe of all her valuable jewelry and other antiques that she keeps in a safe. Since some of her stuff is from our grandmother, she let me have the password to access the safe anytime I want it, but under the condition that I tell her first and not give the password to anybody else. She went away on a trip with her girlfriends 2 days ago and won't be back till Wednesday. So this morning as I was cleaning up, Micah started asking me questions about the safe. I tried to give him one-word answers, and he sensed that I was being secretive. But really, I was just being straightforward. He then asked me to give him the password to the safe. I was taken aback. I asked why, and he said that he's always been curious about what's in there and wanted to get a quick peek. I said I didn't have it, but he told me to quit lying because he heard Natalie say that I could open the safe anytime I wanted. I told him that still it's not my property and I can't share the password with him. He said it really wasn't a big deal, but I politely told him no. He got upset and reminded me who he was to Natalie and how I was just a guest in their house. I said that being a guest is entirely irrelevant in this case, but he chuckled and said that I was being ridiculous. I suggested he wait for Natalie to come home, but he got more upset and said that she's already refused to let him take a look. I shrugged and said that it wasn't my problem. We got into an argument, and I tried calling Natalie, but her phone's been off for hours. He yelled at me, saying I was disrespecting his own home, and rushed out. I'm home alone now and feel shaken because of how he yelled at me. I'm an awkward person with little to no confrontational abilities, and now I think I might have escalated the situation and made him feel upset, and as if I didn't trust his word when he said it'd just be a minute. Am I the idiot for standing my ground on this? Should I just let him have it if he gets back and asks for it? Not the idiot, and tell your sister immediately. Him trying to do it behind your back, the pressure he put on you, and that he scared you. It's all incredibly inappropriate for a 36-year-old man to try and bully his partner's younger sister while alone in the house. Never mind accessing a safe full of valuables his partner does not trust him with. Right, the sister must have refused him access for a reason. It's highly inappropriate for him to pressure OP for a password that he's already been denied by his girlfriend. There's probably a history here that OP isn't aware of. OP, do you have a friend you could stay with until your sister gets back? No one wants a peek inside a safe. Report this to your sister, as he may try social engineering to get access. I would just add that if this guy comes back and tries something similar, especially with the pressure, the yelling, etc., see if you can record him doing that. A recording might be helpful, just in case your sister doesn't believe you or thinks you exaggerated, etc. Yes, this. Call her now, immediately. Let her know exactly what has happened, including how threatening he was. She needs to know what her boyfriend was trying to do behind her back. Good on you for not caving in the face of immense pressure, but please inform your sister. I, female 29, have a phobia of horses. I put phobia in quotation marks because phobias are irrational fears, and I don't think my fear is irrational, but everyone else in my life keeps calling it a phobia. I do like animals, but horses are just not it for me. I don't like being around them and have no interest in petting them or riding them. When I was a little kid, a horse attacked me unprovoked and nearly killed me, and I was hospitalized. My best friend Eliza, female 29, is the opposite of me. When we were in high school, she was your stereotypical horse girl. She owns some horses of her own now and is still obsessed with horses. I don't interact with Eliza's horses and never have. However, I respect that we can have our interest, and Eliza and I have different things to talk about. I have a daughter, Tanya, and Eliza occasionally kindly volunteers to babysit for me. Eliza has a daughter of a similar age, and they play together nicely. Last week, I asked Eliza to babysit for me so my partner and I could go to my cousin's child-free wedding, and she agreed. So I paid Eliza to babysit and gave her some extra money to get herself and the girls some takeout. Well, after I picked Tanya up and was driving home, Tanya told me about how she sat on a horsey. At first, I thought Tanya was talking about a toy rocking horse, but then she told me how she fed the horsey some apples. When I got home, I called Eliza and asked if she had my daughter interact with her horses. At first, Eliza denied everything and said she didn't know what I was talking about. Still, when I said Tanya told me about it, Eliza admitted that she held Tanya while she was sitting on one of her horses and let Tanya help feed one of her horses. Eliza went on and on about how safe it was and that she was in complete control of the situation. The horse stood completely still when she had Tanya on the horse's back. I told Eliza that what she did was irresponsible and that doing it behind my back was unacceptable. I was so angry and uncomfortable. She said that I was overreacting because of my phobia and that Tanya was completely safe, and went on about how well trained the horses were and how she knows so much about her horses. I said I didn't care and she should think about what she did. My family thinks I overreacted, that I should apologize to Eliza, and that I'm projecting my phobia onto my daughter. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Projecting your phobia onto your child is one of the worst things you can do for your child. Working on your mental health to get to that point needs to be a priority. Banning your daughter from horses isn't helping anyone. Her learning how to be around them safely is beneficial. Agree. You are the idiot. Yes, a horse can kill a person. So can a dog. So can a lot of animals. Holding a child while they sit on a horse and letting them feed or pet a horse with supervision, especially the supervision of a lifelong horse expert that owns and knows the horse, your daughter should be able to have experiences regardless of your irrational fears. Not the idiot. She took your child to an activity without discussing it with you first. That's the main issue here. In addition to that, she lied about it. There's a level of trust that was broken here, and it's being blamed on OP's phobia. She lied to you about what she did with your child. She broke your trust and didn't see the issue with her actions. Try to think about what's best for your daughter. Not that she has to love horses and be around them all the time, but that she'd be okay to be around a horse or take an occasional pony ride. I'm so sorry for what happened to you, but please don't pass that fear on to your kiddo.